Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. If you've not met me before, my name's Sonia Gavira, and I work with business leaders to help them create motivated, loyal, and high-performing teams and have some fun doing it. You know, your team needs to be the engine of your business, and it needs to be family, and it needs to be fun to work with. And that's what I love doing. So today I said that I would speak about being a role model. And it's interesting how when I put something like that out there, some of my coaching sessions end up during the week touching on this point. And there's a little story about a coaching session I had yesterday evening with someone that I'll tell you about. But some of the questions that I put in the post for this were, are you a role model? And if you are, who are you a role model for? And what is it that you role model? And do you have any role models that you think of in different situations? Do you have different role models for different things? And the first question of are you a role model is one that takes me back to some very happy times when I was leading a group of or a team of coaches in a big project, and I was responsible for the European part of this project. And I remember we used to meet up a few times a year, and we used to call them a summit. And I remember going to one of the summits, and we'd been organizing this thing for a while. It was an amazing opportunity to be with the whole team and learn together and plan and find out more about each other and have all of those discussions that we'd maybe had via Zoom or a phone or WhatsApp or whatever, but we could actually have it over a drink in a bar or over a meal together, which is always lovely. And I remember being very busy and organizing all of this. And the way that I approached it was that I was organizing this with members of the team for all of these coaches who were coming to it. And it's a real place of serving, of making sure that they have everything that they need, and that they enjoy the time together and can leave the summit really confident about their work. And I remember this one coach who I hadn't met face to face yet coming to talk to me. And I was really excited to meet her face to face. And she seemed to be really excited to meet me. And I had 100 things going round in my head. And as I was talking to her, I sort of realized that there was this wide-eyed impression in front of me, and that she was giving me a lot of compliments and thanking me for things and thanking me for what we were creating and for the work that she was doing, and asking me questions and holding on to absolutely everything that I said. And it was a really I was going to say awkward. It was a really interesting moment for me, and I guess a little bit awkward, because I sort of had this sensation that she had me on this sort of pedestal, and that felt a little bit odd, because I was really in a place of thinking that what I was doing was serving them and helping them, and that they were amazing coaches who were doing a lot more coaching than I was at the time. And yet what was coming back was this sense that she was looking at me as this special person or this very senior person or somebody to emulate in some way. Now, thankfully, I had a fantastic team of people who were very good at making sure my feet were firmly on the ground. But I did go and speak to one of my closest friends and colleagues on the team, and sort of queried why was she talking to me in this way, and my colleague Arantxa laughed basically, and said to me, Sonia, but you're the boss. You're the leader of this team, and the way that you come across and stuff, it's obviously something that's impressed her in some way. Hi, Clay. Thanks for saying good morning. And it was a real moment of, oh my goodness. So they're looking at me for something. And it was a realization in that moment that, okay, it's lovely to be thought of well, but that I was actually role modeling something, and that people in the team were really looking at me for direction, and also as an example of what to do, of what not to do. And what I came to realize was that it wasn't only about behavior, it wasn't only about what I did, but it was very much about who I was, who I am as a person, who I am as a leader, what my values are. And that is what they were looking at in terms of a role model. Now, yesterday I was having a conversation with one of my clients, and we were talking about how she manages her work, and how at the moment she stepped up into a leadership role, and she hasn't got enough hours in the day. And it's mainly because she's still doing a lot of the work that she was doing before, rather than redistributing it, passing it on to her team, or taking on a different role in that same work. And in part it's because she loves it and she can't let go. But also, one of the things that came out, which I thought was interesting for today, was that her boss is someone who is always involved in everything, always with the team and doing things with the team. And she's had this boss in different positions for the last 6 years. And when I say different positions, her different positions, I think this boss in the 6 years has had one move. And she said to me, but he's my, in Spanish it's referencia, so he's my reference, if you like. He's my role model. He's the one that's the example that I have. And I did ask her that was he the example because she likes how he does things, or because he's truly an example? And then we had a really interesting discussion about how she really appreciates him as a person. Therefore, it was a lot about who he was. And then when I asked her, what about what he does in terms of his career progression in the organization? Is what he does enabling the progression that he wants? And then she had to stop and think, and started to wonder whether it was or not, whether the way that he's doing things is actually enabling him or not, whether the way that he's doing things is actually enabling the team well enough or not. And what did she want to do for her team, and what did she want to do for her? So lots of questions, obviously, to explore. So I don't know if any of you believe that you're a role model, who you're a role model for. Maybe it's for your children. Maybe it's in your community. Maybe it's at work. And what does it actually mean to be a role model? I would guess that you're a role model somewhere. And therefore, what is it that you want to role model? Anyway, With those thoughts, I don't know if anybody's got any thoughts for me, but if you have, then leave them in the comments. And make sure that if you are watching somewhere where you can subscribe, then do subscribe to the channel, or connect with me on LinkedIn. And if you want to find out more about what I do, well, here's an email address that you can contact me on. Or if you want to find out more, read some of my blogs, then go to soniagavira.com. Thank you for listening. Clay, thank you for being here. Always nice to see somebody in the comments, especially saying good morning to me. And I will speak to you very soon. Take care. Bye.